doing, Honey Bunch?
Great. How you doing?
I'm great. We're ending June here. We got out of school. Made it through.
Wait. We got out of school and who keeps working every day on school?
I'm not working every day on school, but once a week I am meeting with my journalism kids.
You're meeting more than once a week.
Well, Slack. We use Slack for communication. And
Sure.
Okay, I'm meeting occasionally with my students.
This is taken out of our game time. That's all I'm saying. What is happening here? I'm not sure, but whatever.
All right. It's Sunday night, the 28th when we're recording this, so a couple days early. We just finished watching Noah Gunderson, a live concert that oh my God, it was so good.
It was so good. It makes me happy.
If you don't know this guy,
it makes me
go
really
see
happy.
Noah Gunderson. It is phenomenal. And we'll get to the things. We're drinking a little Valdivino Syrah here.
Wait. Let's show. Valdivino Syrah. This is a local winery. We used to be members at quite a few wineries, but we have cut back signif.
You're doing a very good job of displaying
Thank
that.
you.
That's good.
This Valdivino Syrah 2015.
Good stuff.
Very good. I know it might seem young to some of y'all, but whatever. It's still very tasty. And cheers, dear.
Cheers,
Love
beautiful.
you.
Love you.
But we're here to talk about some games. So we do want to say that, quarantine has been really tough.
Yes.
For us all.
Yeah.
And one of the beauties, and there are a few beauties that can come from this, but one of them is like seeing someone like Noah Gunderson.
That's true.
And other concerts, we've seen Matt Nathanson, who we love tremendously.
Peter Himmelman.
A lot of artists.
Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah, they've been doing little concerts, and that's really been uplifting.
Yes.
For lots of people, including us. So
yeah.
To all of the people doing that.
Shelly's had a little wine. She may get emotional.
I might be emotional, but I'm just saying we appreciate people making the world better, and we're trying to too.
Right. Stop crying.
So
babe.
That's
all right.
So we got some great
we have some games to talk about.
We've had a fantastic time playing board games this month.
For sure.
School has ended, and we've had mental energy to actually play games. So it's been a really fun time.
Yes. So for our first one, Second Chance. The world needs a second chance. We got a second chance. Uwe Rosenberg, great little game from Stronghold. Tetris, write down, flip cards. You try to last as long as you can, putting as many Tetris pieces into your thing. And it is possible, as we talk about on the audio podcast where we did a review of this, it is possible to end first. In other words, not be able to fit in things and still win, because if you're first out, you get to write a number 1 in one of your squares that didn't fit. And, it's possible that you can still have fewer squares that were unfilled than the person who is able to play maybe 1 or 2 more rounds. So, Second Chance, Stronghold Games, Uwe Rosenberg. Really solid title. Love this. I think we've gotten in over 10 plays already. This is a great one. 10, 15 minutes.
Over more than that. And what we can say is, when things are tough and you can't really do like some heavy think, well, it is beyond the perfect game.
10 to 15
We played
minutes.
this game when we couldn't mentally play any others.
That's true. As the school year was ending.
And it was tough. I mean, we had to do a lot of different things, and everybody's career has changed and everybody's life has changed. So Second Chance is
solid stuff.
Muy bueno. Okay, so I'm talking about another game that I love. We've talked about it many times on the podcast. However, this is a change because there are different boards as well as a whole different game associated with this.
And a print and play version because of
I will be talking
pandemic.
about
I know. I just wanted to jump in.
So what I just want to say is, if you do not know, welcome to. This is one of the first write and write.
Draw and draw.
Or draw and draw
Yeah.
games that existed. And it is one of the best.
Yeah, it is.
It is fantastic. So you want to get this. And if you have this, Then you want to get one that is from the online, as Doug said, print
and play.
Print and play. So this is free. So why don't you be going and getting it? Because not only is it that, it's called Quack. It's about ducks. Which is totally adorable. Those of you who don't know us that well, we are major, we got chickens. We're like total weirdos, okay? So, yeah. So we love animals biggie time. If we could have some goats or even a cow, big time, we would. But we cannot because we live in Mountain View where it's like a city in the middle of Silicon Valley and we can't do that. But we do have the chickens. But the ducks are incredible. And basically with this game, it is really cute because, ducks, they follow their mama in a line. So your job is to get houses on either side, on both sides of where the ducks are located. So there's yellow ducks and there's black and yellow ducks. It's very cute. And I always win this game, by the way, because I do love animals. And so I'm like, okay, it's animals, so I will definitely save all my ducks. But you know how you normally play the game. This one has a slight variant in which you want to, save all the ducks by getting properties on both sides of the ducks. Exactly. And that enables you to, when you finish that, score that part. And the other player scores that part too. Say they were working on the yellow and black ducks. Whenever they finished, the other player, then that other person would score. And then you get the total score of them both combined together. Yeah. It is a really sweet game that I will always win because I do love ducks and birds and aminals. Okay, so yes, it is fantastic. It's called Quack. This is a great
print and play.
Print and play. So that's a free. If you already own this, which if you don't,
you should get it.
You should get it. So then Doug, of course, purchased. We're going to buy all Welcome To because we do enjoy the game.
And the audio podcast has a number of different reviews of all of the various ones. There's a zombie one, there's a Halloween one, a Christmas one, and then this one is, of course, speaking of holidays.
And, excuse me, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Where is the 4th of July one? I know it's coming out, and I want them all. So whatever comes out, we will be getting. So then, we had the one that's the Easter egg version, and it's quite fun, too.
It's hard.
This one is really different because basically you're trying to encircle or enclose the eggs, and you can only do those with numerical values of 6, 8, 9 and 0.
10.
Well, the zero. And basically a 0 can hold 2 eggs, or an 8 can obviously hold 2 eggs, but a 6 and a 9 can hold 1. You don't have to enclose the eggs, but there's different egg scoring, and that's a very fun board as well. Yes. Nice variant. Okay, but we have something beyond a variant. We have Welcome to...
New version.
New Las Vegas. Not just Welcome to Las Vegas, but New Las Vegas. And this game takes this to a whole new level. You are trying to not only do some of the whole horizontal goals, which they do in terms of being the first, the person who's in first place to get doubles? No, what do you call this? I'm really drunk. I don't know. 2, 4, 6, 8, or
yes. So the
odds
key
and
here,
evens. That's the words I'm choosing right now.
So
odds and evens.
Yeah, the key is to get odds and evens. You want to get those in groups. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. For the
horizontal version. But there's goals for the vertical version as well as more.
Yeah.
But the vertical, you're trying to get your hotels finished, as well as the second hotels finished. And then there is even, of course, along the top, golf courses.
And the limousine who's driving around.
Gosh.
So
instead it's perfect. And it is such a big thing, actually.
It is a deeper game.
Yeah, it's deeper.
You definitely don't want to jump to Welcome to New Las Vegas.
Well,
I would say you got to do Welcome to, which has less involvement, especially in the base game. Welcome to New Las Vegas instead of
so much
fences,
bigger.
you've got a limousine that's driving around trying to get to various places. So it adds different tweaks and permutations, but in such a great way.
The best part of it is, you know how you tried in the base game, you tried to get fences around your one neighborhood, 2, your 3, your 4, and your 5. But then you also mark off to get them to be worth bigger values.
Right.
And this is really important in this game because you do that for everything.
Right.
So you do that for the shows that you're going to put on. So, you know, every place in Las Vegas has shows. You also do it for the
hotels.
For the hotels. You do it for the golf courses.
Yes, exactly.
You also do it for the way that the limousine is driving around.
exactly.
So if it drives past fountains, or it drives past money, or it drives
VIP
past
place.
VIP, you work on getting those to be higher values. It is a much bigger thing, and you get bonus rounds where it's like getting 2 actions.
Right.
When you earn them, there's this area at the top.
The red ribbon that you've got. Yeah.
And you try to get the most, but it's also what can make the game end.
Right.
So you don't want to necessarily get too much
You don't
before
wanna push it
you're
too
ready.
far. Yes.
But it allows for these super high scoring and really powerful moves. It is fantastic. So
Yes. Welcome to New Las Vegas.
welcome to Las Vegas.
Good
You
stuff.
do need to, that's not an expansion. That is a standalone game.
Yes.
So you do want to, buy that even if you haven't tried Welcome to, and then you'll go, oh, I should probably get Welcome to. I would start with Welcome to and then go to this.
All right. My first game, Villagers. Now, we did a game, and I've got the other one coming up, of games that are in weird boxes. Okay?
He has both of those.
This was a Kickstarter. And it is a tableau building game where you've got your village and you are building different villagers into that village, triggering those to do actions and so on. Feels a little bit Dominion-y because you've got a tableau of cards that you're drafting from and so on, but really solid game. Liked it, didn't love it, but enjoyed it. There are some expansions that were in the box, and in the Kickstarter version, which we had, it had this cool little treasure box which had wooden tokens.
Oh, and it's magnetic.
With magnetic. Everything fits nicely in the box, and it is perfect. So this is Villagers. Solid title, liked it, want to get it back to the table some more. We talk about it on the audio podcast in about a month, and worth checking out if you're interested, especially if you are a Dominion fan and tableau builder fan.
Yeah, it's quite good. I agree.
1 to 5 players.
So the next game is called Endangered, Game of Survival by Joe Hopkins. Okay, so Doug, of course, loves me a lot, and so he's going to buy anything that he thinks I might like. And this definitely clicked a few boxes for me. Big time in that I do love sea otters. We're from Northern California, and here is the sea otter piece. You probably can't see that it is
tigers.
Absolutely perfect. And this is a big portion of the game. Basically, one side of the game is sea otters, the other side is tigers, and you play to try to save them. Well, what is great about it is that it is a cooperative game.
Yeah, it is a co-op game.
And it is truly, in my opinion, made for kindergarten, first, second, third, maybe fourth grade.
Families.
It's families, people with children who want to really teach kids that it's not who wins, it's we're working together for a common goal. And the common goal is, of course, to save animals. And who doesn't really want to do that? And so what is great...
But it's not for gamers.
No, it is not. It is not something Doug and I are going to be like, let's play Endangered. No, absolutely not. However, if you have children between that age group, it is something that you would potentially like. And I'll tell you why. One of those reasons is because there is really good flavor text
That's true.
that you maybe wouldn't read as a gamer. You would just kind of go over that.
Sure.
And there's flavor text about saving the sea otters and or the tigers.
That's true.
And the flavor text is good. There's also some mathematical portions when it comes to getting influence with different countries to try to help you save the animals.
You want to get representatives from different countries. There are 6 of them, and of those 6, you have to get 4 to support your initiative to save the endangered animal by the end of the game. And so you're trying to get influence, trying to lobby them, basically, and put tokens out on their stuff to get that. But
so like Forbidden Island, if that seems a little too hard for you, or your kids, then this would be a good intro, because you will save the animals. There's no way you're not going to save them. Okay, let's just put it that way. Each of you is a specific has a specific role. I like the zoologist, or
I was the philanthropist in one of the games.
And so, he's able to make money more easily based on his card set.
She knows animals.
I'm able to move animals away from oil spills and things of this nature. So if you have children of that age group, then this is good for you. If you play with a group of adults, I would never recommend this to anyone, but the pieces are amazing, and my husband had to buy it for me because I love sea otters, and there's total cards that have major sea otters on them, and the pieces are incredible.
Incredible. Yes. Okay. Our next one, and this is one we really enjoyed, and Mr. Tony Boydell recommended as one of his top games.
Thank you, Tony. We love you.
Yes, is Fantastic Factories. This is a game that is a race game for all intents and purposes, because over the course of the game, you are trying to earn either you're trying to build a certain number of cards in your tableau, or you're earning a certain number of victory points that are physical victory points.
Which is like factory or something.
Because each round you are drafting a card from the central area and bringing it, and those are either buildings which go into your hand and then you can possibly build, or they are workers or contractors who then give you some one-time benefit of some kind. Then, after you have drafted, each person together, kind of simultaneously, which is kind of nice.
Oh, I like this. There's no downtime in the game.
It's
really quick.
You can spend your resources that you've got, build them up, and then build your tableau, possibly tapping cards each time. Oh, tap. Did I say tap? Activating the cards to do various things to either get those physical points or so on. And the cards themselves that you're building into the tableau possibly have points that you're building. And there's, some synergy between the various cards. Really solid game. Fantastic Factories is, as the title says, fantastic.
I mean, it is so good. I mean, because you're trying to race, you're trying to do it. Because you're playing together, it goes really fast.
It does.
And it's just so much fun. Thank you, Tony. Fun. We love you.
Yes, exactly. I'm reaching across because I need a little more wine.
Oh, well, very good choice. Everybody needs that. So, the next game we're going to talk about is Succulent by Alex Kevern. And this game is...
Renegade Game Studios, by the way.
So beautiful.
Really is.
I mean, it is
gorgeous.
I mean, it is stunning. And I would say that it's for family or for light gamers potentially. But
we really liked it.
We do. We really do like it. But I'm just saying it's not like, so heavy or a big think or something like that.
Tile placement with some beautiful, as Shelly's going to show you,
I'm going to show
3D pieces.
So this may not look like anything special. It's a circle with a little flower space. But you put this on a board that has flowers already on it. And when
which
you
is
place
a variable board.
Which also opens up as you go along while you play. Mm-hmm. But as you were placing this down, whatever flowers happen to be underneath it, those are the little hearts,
The
but like the
cuttings.
petals or
They're the
cuttings,
cuttings, yeah.
that you're going to be getting. And then it's kind of like you have sort of contracts. You have things that cards where it says we want to have a red, a purple, a pink, a yellow.
And these are your projects.
And it's like a project. And you put very cool pieces.
Isn't that cool?
Mine is a little trowel. Yours was a spray bottle.
Yeah, a little spray bottle because you got to spritz the beautiful, delicate flowers.
And you put your piece there. And when you get the piece, it allows you to pick up more of these type of pieces, which is maybe 1, maybe 2, and maybe 3. And then those are pieces you take, and you're saying, well, I'm sort of interested in maybe potentially building that. And you might be the one to build it, and you might not be the one to build it, but you put your piece there to get these pieces. Then you place the piece to get these little heart cuttings, right?
Cuttings, yes,
the cuttings.
exactly.
And it's very easy to identify it's my piece.
You place this, and then you place your flower.
It's 2D.
And notice it's 3D.
I mean, it's 3D.
It fits.
It's not 1D. It's not one dot, and it's not a drawing. It actually is 3D.
Three-dimensional,
Yeah.
and it fits into that hole, so it denotes who is the owner of that flower bed.
And what's cool about that is you always know whose stuff is whose. It never gets bumped.
Right.
So it is perfectly artistically designed to make it so you can play the game very well. But what you're trying to do is accomplish these cards. And the cards might say, I need a purple, a red, and 2 yellow. And so once you have put these things on the board to accomplish those, you will get those. But you're also working towards getting water droplets, which a certain percentage of those get put on your board, which might make a yellow or might make a pink.
So even if you haven't collected the cutting physically from the board,
you've got
the water droplets, and you have a yellow or an orange in reserve.
Yeah.
And then you can spend those water droplets to do it. Or, and here's a little key, a nice little twist, if someone completes a project where your little piece has been placed, you get a permanent water droplet. And that permanent water droplet can go into a spot that ultimately scores at the end of the game on your little player board.
And it also makes it so you need less water droplets.
Little ones.
Water droplets to accomplish that color.
Yeah.
So you're constantly building those up too. And, think barrage, but water droplets you can actually, manipulate. They're not so little, but it's all very beautiful. And it is a really cool little, kind of a 3D type puzzle that gamers and non-gamers would really enjoy
Succulent
too. Yeah, it's succulent.
All right, another one of the odd box shapes is On Tour. This came from, of all places, BoardGameTables.com. We don't have one of their tables, but hey, Board Game Tables, if you see this, talk to us.
We would like that. Yeah, thank you.
On Tour, great little game. I love the fact, and I'm going to open this up, that you each have, everybody has these, they're almost like menus, but they fold out, and it's a map of the United States, and then...
Not all of the states are represented.
No, not all the states are represented.
Not small ones, but...
And then you have these cool, huge dice, and of course, pens that you're writing with, because what you're doing is you're taking the number off 2 different dice. Yes, there's 2 dice in here. Yep, there it is. All right. 2 dice, okay? And you're either going to, so if I rolled this, it will be either 13 or 31. All right, and I'm going to write 13 in one spot and 31 in another spot of 3 possible choices that are going to be on the map. And I can write them in the specific spot that is the state that is denoted on the card, but also the cards are divided into either north and south or west, east, and central. And if I'm like, I don't like this number, I'm going to put it in a different spot than the specific state denoted. What I'm ultimately trying to do is create a path that I can draw from the lowest number that I start out with to the highest number that I start out with. I get a point for every state that I go through. And if I put it in a state that was the exact state, I've circled that. So therefore I get 2 points for that. And though Shelley at the very first, and you can hear the podcast on this in about a month, Shelley at the very first was like, oh my God, I can't stand it.
I can't do that. I love this game. It
Totally
is
cool.
So much fun. I really can't recommend this game enough.
I mean, liked it.
It's cool because you kind of get this feeling that you're supposed to go from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, from California to New York or whatever. And you're supposed to
because we're used to those train games that start in the East and go West, right?
And so you're thinking you got to go from, the low levels to the high levels. But you don't even have to do that. You could go do a whole circle that's really weird.
Right in the middle.
It doesn't matter. I mean, that's what's so cool about the game. Yeah, it really is cool. And in the audio podcast, I do recommend my variant, which I highly recommend that you look at too, because it is really good and should be included within the game. Though the game is solid without, it is really amazing. But I like to push my luck, and with my small variant, you must check out when you have time. You will see, oh yeah, that should have been in the game. Thank you very much. Okay. And with that, we're going to talk about...
big, heavy games now.
A game that I love, 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 love. Michael Kiesling and Andreas Schmidt, Heaven and Ale. And we reviewed this game a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I thought it was heaved in ale because, the end looks... Heaved, like, whatever. I was like, okay, it's a...
They drank some alcohol and they heaved.
It is a fantastic game.
The base game is very great.
So if you love this game, and if you don't know this game, you should check it out. What I can say about the base, before I get on into the expansion, is that there, of course, is a track with some tiles that come out that are like hexagon tiles. Mm-hmm. And you're pulling those, and they're different colors.
Putting them on your player board.
And you're putting them on your player board. And there's a day and a night. And it costs twice as much to put in the day as it does in the night.
Sunny side, shady side.
Sunny versus shade. And the shade is the money. So you have to have money to be able to buy anything or do anything. And the sunny portion is related to basically getting your pieces up so you're going to get victory points. So, you have to have a good balance. And this game is all about balance. And it is an amazing game. The expansion, what is that called?
That's a good question. The expansion, and we'll pull it out right now, is this one. It's Kegs and More. This is the expansion, a little expansion that came out, and it adds a cart, kegs,
and a separate board.
Yeah, and little kegs and hay as you're moving your cart around, and you are then delivering your barrels or your kegs of beer to the various taverns. And that adds a nice little wrinkle because these kegs and hay go out on the board and are placed out on each of the rounds. Now,
so it doesn't change the base game. It adds to it these bits that are on each of the place. And you don't have to pick up all of them. No. So if you could stop at a different place and just pick up hay.
True.
Or just pick up the ale. Or just pick up the dice,
right?
Which allows you to move,
right,
on a separate board. So it really does add a nice bit to the game. So
I liked it.
We've our scores have been higher than they ever have been. So.
Well, and I would say I think that just playing the game more, which we're doing, has meant that we are better about scoring more due to the things that we're picking up.
But what the expansion does is allow you to think differently about the base game. And it is already a tough, really heavy game.
But really straightforward and interesting game as you go forward.
Yeah. But when you have these, you can stop on a place that has hay, and you maybe can't even pick it up because of the constraints of your other board. But
you only have so much storage.
Yeah, but you could still do the other action there. Or you could just pick up a die which allows you to move that many space on the other board.
Right.
Because if you're able to drop off your ale in certain places, you're going to get more points that way.
Right.
So it gives you a little, it kind of opens up the board more, especially if you're playing this, I think, multiplayer as well.
True.
I mean, though we utilized both of these boards thoroughly.
Very much so.
I think that sometimes this game might be slightly painful in that you could not get the stuff you want.
Right. There are more rounds in
multiplayer.
In 3 and 4 players. One thing that I really like about the game is that there are 3 rounds in a 2-player game, and it goes, once you remind yourself and refresh yourself of the rules, it goes in less than an hour.
Yeah.
And but that hour is a good think the entire time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really an
I
amazing
think
game.
this is just, I could not speak highly enough of this game. It is so much fun.
Yes.
The base game is already incredible. However, if you love the base, you should really check out the expansion because it does open up. It makes you think differently about the game and gives you other options you could work on. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah. We'll be doing an audio podcast with a lot more depth on the game in a couple months.
Yes.
All right,
definitely.
because we're ahead on the audio podcast. So, just like with Heaven and Ale, where we last Essen, we were able to get an expansion for it and then get it back out to the table. This heavy guy, Teotihuacan, has had the late Preclassic period expansion added to it, and this is an essential expansion if you like the base game. Because, as we talked about in the podcast that will be forthcoming, the audio podcast, one of the biggest problems with the original game, and one of the things that I would say is a problem with this game in general, is that this game wasn't as developed as it needed to be. I think that the designers do a really good do a really good design here.
We love the designers. So,
but Tolkien, done by Czech Games Edition, and this same designer, Daniele Tascini, great development. They worked it out. They brought it to the gathering. Amazing, great stuff with that one. The Hadara.
Yes.
No, not Hadara.
No.
Marco Polo
2, which we love.
Here's a perfect example from Hans im Gluck, where Marco Polo we liked. But it's almost like there's like, oh, here are some good things, and let's properly develop this game. Marco Polo 2, oh my God, so much better in our opinion.
Yeah, we love it.
Great game, properly developed. This addition to Teotihuacan makes Teotihuacan go from, well, let's be honest.
Pretty good.
It felt like it was pretty good and more work
a lot of
than
work.
game.
Yeah.
Whereas it's still a little bit of work. Sorry, the dog's shaking out over here.
Yeah.
But it changes and adapts and fixes, in my opinion, the number 7 spot, the decorations on the pyramid that you build in the middle of the board of Teotihuacan, to make it so that it's a little bit easier to accomplish and makes that a viable possibility as you go forward. And it also changes up the number 8 spot, which is the building of the pyramid itself, so that, you know, if you go in, just like with the resource collection in Teotihuacan, if you've got one of your worker dice in that spot, you get so much stuff. If you have 2 of them there, you get more. Here, same thing. One of them, and depending upon its value, you get to build at a higher level and so on. And it makes the game better.
Yeah, there's you get a roll, you get to pick.
You get a god where you
god.
You get 2 and you choose one of those.
And
so
that
gives
is
you
helpful
an addition,
because it gives you some kind of benefit and some kind of disadvantage to play the game. So you really have to go towards your advantage rather than your disadvantage.
And that's nice,
and I like that.
Gives
it's
you
not like
different
it's
possibilities.
the power is so great that you are going to win all the time.
Right.
If you get some kind of a power, there's going to be some negative also associated with it. So,
right.
So I had one that was like you got some advantages at each of the eclipses. I got some extra stuff from the beginning tiles. I got basically all of them, but they were spread out.
Right.
But then I had to pay an extra wood whenever I went to build something in the temple or wherever I went to build something somewhere else. So you have to think, do I want to do that? Yeah. I had another god where I got to have an extra step.
Right, because it's a rondelle, if you remember, and you could step 1 to 3, so Shelley could go 1 to 4.
But then I couldn't use any food to unlock my players, or I couldn't when I went to a place to get food, I had to take 1 less food.
Right.
So food was harder to come by, but I also could use 3 food to jump anywhere I wanted, which I was never really able to do using that god. Right. However, you could work towards doing that, but I was definitely utilizing the walk in extra space.
Right.
So
definitely.
So each of the gods has something that's really solid, and then something that makes it harder for you too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And the other 2 things that are added into the game are a tile that shows that in some way modifies what's happening during that particular eclipse round.
That's fun.
So, for example, there was one where instead of going 1 to 3 spaces, you go 2 to 4. You can't even
move 1.
So that meant Shelley had the god that as an extra step, so she could go 2 to 5 spaces, which was kind of cool for that round.
That was cool. And I still lost that game, but yes, it was cool.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, it was close.
And then the other addition is a 4th temple track, which we didn't really use to an extent, but is something that, it's like, we got to incorporate this. This is interesting to try and so on. And all of these with this box are mix and match. I would say it is an essential addition with the change and modification to number 7 action and the number 8 action.
Which we didn't say dealt with getting gold so you could accomplish tasks or accomplish where you were at, or getting food or unlocking people.
Yeah, that's one of the key aspects.
So that is the thing that opens up the game even more, I think.
Yeah, the 8 and the 7, when you add these modifications, if you have a higher die value worker
and
there,
more dies.
One of the benefits is that you unlock one of your workers that you may have locked previously. So it's just I think, an essential expansion to a game that is very good in its base game, but becomes better with this expansion.
I agree, yeah.
All right. That'll do it for this monthly rundown of what we have played in June. We look forward to hearing from you. Remember, subscribe in the button down below and ring the bell so that you make sure that you find out whenever we put out a new episode. We're going to try and do more of these as we go forward. Maybe not this drunk. But hey, drunk podcasting can be fun. All right. That'll do it for this month. Hopefully we'll see you in a week or 2. At the very least, we will see you at the end of July and let you know what we've been playing over the course of that month. Have an amazing summer. Remember, Black Lives Matter. We all need to make sure that we stand up for each other. Stay safe, wear your masks, and take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.